So, welcome back to another episode of Off the Stands in Stadium. It's my pleasure to introduce Ranjit Bajaj back on the channel, and this time along we have got Triman Ranvir, the young player who has sacrificed his Belgium citizenship and has come to India. It's a pleasure to have you both on the channel. It's not going to be a questionnaire like or an interview like format. So let me just make it an informal discussion. So, Triman, let me start with you itself.
Yes.
You had started your football career from your young age itself. You had started your football career in Belgium, and as we all know, Belgium is had ranked first in the FIFA rankings and all, and we know the quality of players there. So, what kind of exposure did you get from that youth level in Belgium?
Of course, it's a bit different than India, and the exposure is also really big. I think at a young age, especially because here in India you don't have like much baby leagues as compared to Europe and Belgium, especially. Every player can start around 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then get scouted. So the younger you are, the more chance you got to be scouted. And I think especially players under the age of 14, and if they take it seriously, you can easily get scouted by a good team if you just are above average and you get a really good opportunity. But for me, in that age, I wasn't that serious with football. Just like fun and games, like with friends. And I started playing for my first club at the age of 11. So it was a kind of late. But other players started around the age of 6. So I had like a big gap. So I had 3, 4 years, which I then I really wanted to play football because I went to a bigger school and then I met a lot of players that played for elite teams like professional clubs, on the jersey I'm wearing now.
Yeah.
And then I was just like inspired a bit, and then I said I'm gonna give it a go. And I was already playing at the lowest club in Belgium, the worst division and the worst club of the country. Officially, it was an article. I played at the worst club of Belgium, and then I started from there and worked my way up, and now I'm here. So it was a great journey, and I want to see where it takes me.
Yeah. So talking about exposure, while we were doing our research on you and all, so we had got that you had exposure in various football clubs in countries like Finland, then Spain, then VRS Academy of Netherlands. So how did these exposures transform you? If these exposures are correct, so how did these exposures had an influence on you?
Yeah, to start with VRS Academy, it was my first season, like a long period that I played overseas, and it was in the Netherlands, which is next to Belgium. And even though it was a country literally that speaks the same language, has mostly the same culture, but still it was a really big change for me. So you can imagine how different India is for me. And just to understand the game style of the Netherlands is much different, it's much more tactical and technical than Belgium, and less physical, I would say, from my experience at least. And in Finland, I had a trial period with them, and I played with the first team. It's in second division of Finland, and I played 2 games. And one game with under 21, we played a FA Cup game, which I also scored in Helsinki, the capital. So yeah, it was a great experience. Also, I haven't had that much experience playing with senior players. That was one experience, and now playing with Delhi FC and Tekcho, which Ranjit sir has provided for me, and allowing me to play with bigger guys, senior players with more experience. It's great for me and to learn, and a big stepping stone also. So I think, I'm grateful for that.
So just continuing on that, now you also said that the football in these countries like Finland, Spain, Netherlands, all these countries have a different methodology of football. Like in Spain, it's
Yeah,
more fast, the game is more tactical and all.
that's
So these different kind of exposures, do you think these all
Mhm.
add into your quality as a footballer, or is it difficult to adapt into these conditions?
I mean, my style is I change a lot of my environment. Like Ranjit sir also told me. If you get out of your comfort zone, you'll get a better player. You'll achieve more things, and the more you're uncomfortable, the more you will process and progress. And going to Spain with my academy, PRS Academy. It was actually the week after I came back from India with meeting Ranjit sir. I went to Spain directly,
Okay.
which was a great experience. We went with VRS Academy, and we played like 5 games. We won all 5. I scored 6 goals and 2 assists, and I sent the highlights to Ranjit sir. So you can ask him what he found about it. Yeah, so it was really well experience. I mean, Spain teams are really good, but we won against all of them. So I think Netherlands has one up against them on that. But yeah, I mean, they just really got great fields, everything. The passing of them was like terrific. They were playing so fast. But I think we were there with the mission. For them, it was just like a home game, just an extra friendly game. But we came to Spain with the other mentality: we're gonna win, and we won the first game, won the second game. So you're gonna be on like a drive, and so that's I think the mentality of our team was much stronger, and we took it more seriously. So that could say why we won all 5 games. So yeah, also a great experience.
So now let me just bring Harishankar onto the this. He's been sitting idle there. So I think Hari has a question regarding now. You was just told that it's difficult to adapt to Indian conditions, and also he has a question related to that.
So, Triman, comparing to the European conditions, most of the players felt it hard that coming to India from the European conditions. How could you compare both the conditions of European football and India, and also the climatic conditions in India? How was it able to adapt to the conditions?
To start with the climate, I mean, like everybody knows, much hotter here, which I'm not used to. Here, Belgium is a cold country to be honest. Snows, it rains every time. Man. Every time I leave Belgium with a flight, it rains. I arrive, it rains like it's normal here. And yeah, I mean, here it's also really hot. I came in December, which is supposed to be a cool month, which everybody finds cold. I was walking around with shorts, bro. It was really hot for me. So imagine the summer, it's going to be hell. But I mean, it's going to improve me. I mean, I think this experience also is going to be helping me in future if I get like here the national team or like in the ISL. So how earlier I start, how much more I'll be adapting to the culture and the playing style and the climate even. And with playing style and football wise, I think Europe is much more advanced. I mean, the fields are much better. I mean, I think Belgium is the same size as Punjab, maybe a bit smaller, and has much more artificial grounds, maybe 10 times more than the whole India. Belgium, every village has 2, 3 grounds artificial. Holland has even more, and Holland you can use every ground. Belgium doesn't allow only on training session, but Holland you can use every ground you want just to train public, except for training hours. So I mean that things we can really learn from, and just the quality of our grounds. So luckily here in Manila, it's a really good grass ground. We just kept and we water it, and yeah, I mean it's a really good ground. So I have nothing to complain about that. But still, compared to Europe, it's a bit different. But yeah, it's really good for me here also.
So Hari, will you like to add on something to that?
You're muted.
Sorry. So Hari, will you like to add on something to that question?
India also has a variety of climatic conditions within its geography itself, which can be a good condition for the national teams, as it can affect different players from different countries if we host all these competitions. For example, like Argentina, which played in Iceland game, which we saw they were very much difficult to adapt to that conditions. Similar to that, we could also use these climatic variations for better results of the national teams.
So yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, every advantage we could take, we should. But personally, I think we should have the advantage with playing and take that more seriously instead of taking the climatic high ground. I mean, of course, you can use it, but I think really we should start from grassroots level and more focus on that, and instead of geographic advantages. But yeah, so.
No, so yeah, as you were saying, like the climatic conditions and all. Here, the thing is with climate is that you go to Ladakh and all, you will be playing in 11,000 feet. Like now itself, Ladakh FC new club has one Ladakh FC new club has been launched in Ladakh. So they are playing at high altitudes. So India is a mixture of these climates. That's what we were telling. So especially now that you are trying to build a career here, so you will be getting if you go to Kerala, the southern part and all. So it's a different climate from the north. So that's what we were trying. I was trying to convey about.
Yeah, okay.
So,
yeah. India's a humongous country, and what I personally think the most beautiful thing about India is it's the culture diversity.
Yeah,
it's the geographic diversity. I think you have forests, you have like mountains, you have like the Himalaya. Also, you have like Like you have everything. You have desert, so that's the most beautiful thing. I don't think a lot of countries have this, so that's a really beautiful thing about the country. And yeah, there's a lot of to be seen.
Okay. Ranjit sir, you have been sitting idle there, so let me just bring you into the conversation. So, sir, one thing I wanted to ask you is like हमारे देश में जैसे एक ईशान पंडिता आए हैं जो एक्सपीरियंस आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट PIO OCI हियर ईशान पंडिता आए थे बहुत एक्सपीरियंस के साथ आए थे then Aniket Bharti है Apneet Bharti these are all guys who had exposure from various countries but when yeah, Sahel,
Akash Mishra.
yeah.
So he was in a German academy, and Sahel was in the UAE all his life.
Yeah.
And have you seen how technically good Akash is or Sahel is? See, that is something. If on top of our boys, you see somehow are not that technically good as Sahel. What Sahel can do in a field, I don't think many Indian players can do.
Yeah.
And what Akash Mishra can do in defending, not many left backs or right backs can do what that. See, because when you are born and brought up in that technical know-how and with those coaches, and on top of that, every single day when you play, you're playing on the best surface, like Triman was saying. So before that, first of all, guys, Adarsh, thank you so much for having me. Harish Shankar, thank you so much for having me. But see, hearing all this is just making me feel really sad because he said that Belgium has more turfs than the entire country put together, and that's very, very true. There's no doubt about it. In fact, the same with coaches. The number of coaches in Belgium, the number of goalkeeping coaches in Belgium are more than the total number of coaches we have in India.
Wow.
Of A, B, C, D, E, Pro, सब कुछ मिलाकर. That's how far back we are. But you've seen a way ahead that even something as small as Punjab, Belgium, or smaller, can be world number one. So that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing for us to see. That means look at the power if it's put right where you can reach. Especially with a country with the power of India. Especially now with us Indians. For example, we had the same downfall in hockey. We were the world's best in hockey.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I say world's best, 8, 9 Olympic medals on a streak. Until 65, 70s. Top notch. Nobody could come near us. मतलब कि हमारे पास भी नहीं आता था. Same way, by the way, till 1960s, and nobody in Asia could come near us in football. And in the world, we were in the top 5, top 10 maximum until the 1970s. I'm talking about. We were beating France till 1970, and you can go and see it. So this is a very big fix up. कि ये hockey का भी यही decline आया. They've got back.
Yeah. अभी
they used to say कि hockey का इसलिए आया क्योंकि sports science has come in, the Goras are fitter and they've got better food to eat and they've got turfs. All these things are true, but now all those things have now come to India. But that's not only for hockey, it's for football as well. But in hockey what's happened is, why we had been left behind was, till the 1980s, 90s, turfs were already built in Europe for hockey. Then in 90s, it only became a turf game. When it became a turf game, in India, we had one turf. One. And that's why we felt so back. Because, come on, passing on turf and passing on an Indian ground, which is used for football, cricket, hockey, that ball, and it's a small, not even a football, it's this much. It will never go with speed, it will never go with that. And you need, we've been watering the turfs because you wanted to go faster. That is why we got so bad. Now, let me tell you the figures. There are now over 1,000 turfs in India for hockey. 1,000. That means every school kid now plays his school games or nationals in turfs. All school nationals, junior nationals, universities, college games happen on turfs. Result, our boys know how to play on turfs. That's still not happened with football. The only people who are playing on brilliant, beautiful grounds are 50 Indians who play in the ISL.
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के बाद अगर हम कहे भी है तो अभी सुपर कप इज गोइंग ऑन coach Stephen Constantine is complaining about the lack of training facilities, like one training ground is there and all. So especially in Kerala, because I'm also from Kerala, so I know about in the district I'm living here, we have these seven turfs only, and that too in very limited in number. We have one proper stadium which is not at all maintained.
And on top of that, it's not even maintained. See, I'll tell you, I used to come there when we used to play Gokulam in the evening session. It used to look the same, okay? And I used to think, and it is, by the way, where Punjab is concerned and Kerala is concerned, people think Punjab is a great sports house, but nobody gives a damn about, government doesn't give a damn about sports here. But even Punjab takes care better of its stadiums than what I saw, not only in Kerala, but in a lot of other places in India. Now, what we need, and it's not because of Punjab people, government doesn't do it. You have to have the stadium being rented out to private parties. When I say rented out, not for marriages, not for shows or sports, and so that can be maintained. Now, the moment you have, for example, Kerala mein wo kehte hain ki you like stadium is good, and Stephen is saying that there's no training facility. That's exactly as bad. That means you play on the best surface, but you can't train. What's the point? When you go play on the best surface, you play like a moron because you've been training on a moronic surface. So you need.
There was also news that Kerala Blasters was asked to travel from Kochi to Kozhikode daily for training.
Yeah, because they said we want this ground, and they said the only ground available is there, and it's a shame because in Kerala, which is like, I'm honest, the home of football other than Bengal and Kerala. Where else would you find these facilities? If you're not going to find them here, then तो India में तो कहीं नहीं मिलेगा.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
The only place मतलब कि जहाँ पे होना चाहिए, एक जगह होना चाहिए बंगाल में, एक जगह होना चाहिए केरला में और गोवा में और नॉर्थ ईस्ट में. इन चार जगहों में तो एटलीस्ट हमारी facilities top notch होनी चाहिए. So अगर इन जगहों में भी we are so far back, that means the rest of the place where football is not doing well, वहाँ पे तो there's no ground. So when we say that we can't make a national team from 1.4 billion people, no, it's not. You have to calculate the number of boys who have born and brought up in an academy, playing on great surfaces from the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many are there? If you actually look at it, 100, 200. So हमारी जो Indian teams बनती हैं, it's not from 1.4 billion. It's actually from 200. And that is why people who have just trained abroad, like Sahel, like Akash Mishra, even though they're not trained abroad all their life, just for little time, they can come and rocket into the Indian team here.
वही है जो, बट अभी देखो ईशान पंडिता है, उनको एक्सपोजर मिला है, पर अभी उनको आईएसएल में आकर उनको सारा प्लेइंग टाइम, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, प्लेइंग टाइम, ही इज नॉट गेटिंग प्लेइंग टाइम. सेम वॉज विद अपनी बात, व्हेन ही केम ही डिडंट प्ले इन द आईएसएल. सो ऐसा है कि एक्सपोजर तो मिल रहा है पर प्लेइंग टाइम नहीं मिल रहा.
Striker
Ayush Adhikari also in Kerala Blasters, who was performing very well for the under 17 teams. I think the main problem is for some particular positions. I think certain positions of Indian players are getting playing time. Sir told about Akash Mishra. He is a fullback, where we usually use Indian players in the ISL teams.
You're so right. You're so right.
But coming to Akash, Ishan Pandita and Ayush, they are both central midfielder. Ayush or Ishan is a striker. Now we can see that Ayush is playing last match in the Super Cup. He has played as a right back for Kerala Blasters.
No, not only that. Let me tell you how we Indians ruin our strikers. Manveer Singh. Manveer Singh was playing as a right back for Mohan Bagan. This in the ISL this year. So that is, the worst thing you can do to a player. Because, the coach wants a guy who can go back from the thing and maybe if he has one chance score, but no, you're winning that striker for the country. I tell you, the same way Kerala Blasters, here it's not Kerala Blasters, it's every team. For example, Odisha. There was this boy, Shubham Sarangi. You heard of him? So he, under 15 I-League, he was the highest scorer. In my team, there were 3 strikers in the under 15, okay? Number 1 was Shubham Sarangi. Number 2 was Vikram Pratap Singh. Number 3 was Manveer Singh, the one who's gone to Northeast, is now playing with me again in Delhi FC. So look at the quality of these strikers. There, Shubham Sarangi had scored the maximum goals in India. He was the highest scorer of the under 15 I-League. From there, he went to Orissa FC. From that day, he became a right back. at the age of 16, from 16, 17, 18. Doesn't matter even if you're Komal Thatkal, you're sitting on the bench. At this age, you don't need bench, you need game time. If you do not get game time, then it's not the right club for you. Then you need to force your agent, even if you have a long-term contract, doesn't matter, force your agent to send you a loan. Yeah. Even if it is to an I-League club. Game time, if you don't, because then you'll become not better, you'll become worse. Doesn't matter what kind of training facilities you have with the ISL. Unless you're getting game time, it will not help.
Yeah.
So that's what you explained me. That formula, like you said.
So yeah, coming back to Triman. I think Hari has a question for you.
Yeah, Triman, you had taken a tough and a brave decision to give up the passport of Belgium, which was the top country in the FIFA ranking. So, what motivated you to give up the passport and take the Indian passport?
Yeah, look, I always been interested in playing for my country. That's always been my dream, and yeah, it's an opportunity opening for me. As I was speaking with Ranjit Bajaj sir on social media, we were talking with, and it's actually
sorry to disturb you,
conversation.
Sorry to disturb you, but I love the way you say "my country, my country, my country."
Yeah.
Okay, go on. Yes, thank you. Yes, so yeah, actually, Belgium I see it equally as my country, but still, like my father also explained me, look, Belgium is like temporary. I can move to other country, but we always gonna have to go back to Punjab and where my village is, and that will always stay what my home is, where my father is, where my grandfather is. So, and my brother runs Punjab. Even I'm born and raised in Belgium, so yeah, even though I'm a bit whitewashed, I'm Punjabi still. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I've always wanted to play for India, and I posted some highlights. Me, I just thought a random idea came like, let me tag Indian football so I get more interaction, maybe like a random idea I had. And then a lot of people started messaging me. You play really good, real good, really good. Contact Ranjit Bajaj, this, that. They keep tagging him. And then I said, okay, let me message Ranjit and I messaged him. And then because I was getting a lot of messages, he actually replied me. And then a week later, I actually opened it. I didn't take it seriously. I said, contact me because a lot of people were asking my number, so I didn't actually take him seriously. Then I saw his verification. I said, oh shit, that's real. Then I looked up who he was, and then I sat around with my father. We were watching TV, and I searched his name on YouTube. I said, Papa, he's a real deal. Then we contacted him, and we spoke, and yeah, he sent my highlights, and he said, yeah, you have to come because I play good. He said, on highlights, but what is highlights? And then he said, look, you have potential to play for the national team, but I have to see you in person and see how you adapt to the game. Because I could be good there, but completely useless here, which is a completely different thing. And like I said to a lot of my followers and Indian football fans, look, it's equally as difficult for an Indian going to Europe and for a European going to India, maybe a bit more, because it's the other way around. But yeah, like I said my highlights. He said, come over, and I came over with my father and my brother. The first time I came, and I trained with the under 17 as they were preparing for the I League, and yeah, it was a great experience, experiencing Indian football firsthand, and what a way to do so actually. So yeah, I learned a lot, and then I went back to Belgium and went with my academy to Spain. Sandri did some highlights of that trip, like I said, and yeah, he was well impressed. And then he said I should come to India, and my father and me decided this is the way to go because yeah, I think I have a future here, and I really wanted to give up my passport. I went to the embassy of Belgium, and in Belgium of India, want to give my passport. Okay, they said go to the DC in India. It's going to be faster. I go to DC. He said I cannot help you. Go to the Jalandhar passport office. I went to the Jalandhar passport office. He said to me, yeah, you can do it with DC and this and that. And then it's okay, yeah, you can go to the Home Affairs. I went to the Home Affairs, and then the site doesn't work. It's like there were technical issues, and then I went to like advocate office and I helped them fill out the form. I filled everything out, and then when I apply, after hour of filling out the form and reforming and everything, they said to me, yeah, you have to be a 5-year OCI holder to be eligible to apply for Indian citizenship, and I'm only 2, so I have to wait 3 years more to apply for a citizenship, which also may take a lot of time. And then plus on that, I have to be a citizen for like I don't know, a year, 2 years. I don't know what the criteria is. And then I have to wait for a passport, which also could take like I don't know how long. I mean, what is the point? Look, I'm not a professional player. I'm just a kid. I'm 18 years old, just an 18, and I'm just a kid, 2004 born. Imagine a Premier League player or like a unprofessional player even. They wouldn't even want to wait 6 months, 5 months, 2 months. So what's the point? I think if they're gonna make an example out of me, and nobody's gonna want to come to India. So I mean, they're ruining themselves. I mean, they're shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, you cannot expect anybody to come and say, "Yeah, you don't want OCI holders, you want Indians." Then somebody wants to become an Indian, and you're gonna treat them like that. So I mean, it's absolutely horrific. Man.
Yeah, especially
Sorry,
I
bro.
think
This is
before.
the real Indian conditions for the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told him that. I said, welcome to India. When he told me all these things, because Hari
Yeah.
and others, again, like I told you, bro, when we hear these things, we don't think, oh my God, what's happened to you? We think, oh, it's a normal day. It's a
Normal day.
day.
Yeah, ऐसा ही होता है.
Yeah.
So, especially you were talking about the long waiting period. So, I think the player before you, what I can recall is that Arata Isumi, he had to wait for 6 years to play in the national team, I guess. He had after coming. So, yeah, so that happens here. The thing, so Ranjit sir, I want your opinion in this. तो अभी जैसे पीआईओ और ओसीआई प्लेयर के रूल्स है तो अभी हमारा नेबरिंग नेशंस श्रीलंका आ रहा है पाकिस्तान नेपाल बांग्लादेश दे आर ऑल अलाउइंग दिस टू हैपन दे आर अलाउइंग द पीआईओ ओसीआई तो ये हमारा साफ में जो हमारा पोजीशन है डू यू थिंक दैट विल अफेक्ट दैट और इज दैट वो हमसे आगे निकल जाएगा ऐसा कुछ सोच है
Yeah, definitely. निकल गए हैं. For example, if you see Afghanistan, whenever they play us, you see that all of those boys do not look like they are playing in Taliban conditions, man. They all look like they have been playing in good conditions because they all play in German third division leagues. I am not kidding. The entire Afghanistan team. So imagine the kind of technical support, food, training they're getting there. They're only going to get better. And what are we doing? We are making it worse for our boys to come back. So either we make sure that, see, if we have to go sport by sport, and suppose it's a sport like cricket, or it's a sport like hockey, or it's a sport like chess, where we don't require our OCI to come back because we have enough here to do the
क्रिकेट
job
में
for
तो
us.
लाइक वी कैन मेक ए बी सी डी ई एफ
ये भी क्या बाकी जितनी टीम्स है दुनिया की जितनी भी है वो सारे इंडियंस के भरे हुए हैं जो यहाँ से नहीं
बिल्कुल
select हुए हैं.
यूएई की
Yeah.
टीम है सब में इंडियंस ही है
all our Indian, Pakistan, Sri Lankans who have not made it in their teams have gone there. Now, by the way, who do you think the Europeans who are here in football are? They're all the European footballers who have not made it there who come here in ISL. If they will get the same kind of contract there, you think they'll come here? Okay, so that's a different point. Now, but that's what it is in every country, in every sport. But then you say, okay, then our rule is this, that you cannot have dual citizenship, but you can have OCIs. Now, if an OCI wants to give up his citizenship, we as Indian football fans, now I'll tell you the way out. We need to start a campaign because it's going to help us in there. Guys, we are not very far away from the World Cup with 48 teams. I mean, with 48 teams coming into the World Cup. Now, so what does that mean? You have to be in the top 10 in Asia. That's what it means. And how far back are we? 13, 14, 12, 11, 13, 14. But for the top 10 में आने के लिए, we require just a fill up of 4, 5 quality players. I'm talking about top 10 में आने के लिए. The day we have 10, 11 Indians who we have in our first team who play in the European League, we'll reach the World Cup. We'll be in the top 4 in Asia. How do you think Iran is doing it? How do you think Korea is doing it? How do you think Japan is doing it? They don't play the Japanese. In the Japanese team, only one player is there who's that 38, 39-year-old guy in the Japanese league. Yeah. Everybody else is playing in Europe. The same with Iran. The same with Korea. No one is playing in their league. But are you saying the Japanese league is not good? It's 100 times better than India. So with the Korean league, 100 times better than India. The AFC Champions League, every time they win the bloody either it's Korean team or it's Japanese team or it's Iranian team who wins it. Teams like Persepolis and all those things. So imagine if their players are going abroad and playing and then they are able to get to the World Cup. You are trying to make ISL as good. ISL has to be, even if ISL gets better than the Japanese league or the Korean league, even then our boys will not get to the World Cup. So we need to promote where we not only get players from abroad, but our own boys back. And especially make it easy, especially at this age. See, if you do it at an age of 25, 26, 27, then it's like you're taking a product from there and from अपनी team में डाल रहे
Hmm.
ठीक है. Whereas this boy or Sahel or Akash Mishra, no one can say he's a German product or a UAE product or a Belgium product if from now we take him and groom him and he plays entire life football in India.
Huh.
Like Sahel is played and Akash has played since the age of 18, he'll always be called an Indian product, and so will Akash. Triman, if he starts playing at 18, 19, 20 for Indian clubs and spends his life here, he's always an Indian product. So the point is that we need to help boys like this come in. And how is that? That is, we have to start a campaign in which we have to say that footballers who are coming before the age of 21, 22, 23, that means when they're juniors, they should be on a fast track for a passport. It should not be treated as a normal passport case if somebody is trying to give up his citizenship in some country and coming here. It's a totally different thing. So
there's a regulation.
But it
that
should
allows
not be
players
the
under
same.
18.
There should be a different section altogether for athletes or sports people or any professional, top-notch professional who wants to come back to his country, man. Because see, I'll tell you, पहले होता था हमारे time पे brain drain. So all of us, especially in Kerala and especially in Punjab, we have only one dream: oh, abroad.
अभी भी है ना कनाडा जाने का.
So yeah, because
Canada.
so in Punjab it's Canada and it's in Kerala it's all the UAE because they've got.
नहीं अभी केरला में भी कनाडा यूके आ रहा है.
Because all your mama, chacha, sayas, uncles are there, man. Our entire villages. Bro, I can guarantee you, Adarsh, Hari, Triman, Ranjit, all of us have relatives in Canada.
Yeah, my father's sister lives in Canada.
Exactly. So it's not or abroad. Okay, so abroad we have.
Yeah.
So see, the point is we need to now we'll have even more and more boys like Triman. Understanding. This is not just a one-off thing. He may be the first one. Yes, who knows, Pathfinder. But do you know the total population of Indians abroad now? And do you know the number of kids who are now, who are, when our Indians used to go, we used to go and we used to say, okay, fine, what will we do? We will do labor there. Okay, and then we'll make, and then when my parent is a laborer, then I am not going to be sending my son to a football school. I will just be educating him so that he gets a great education. Okay.
Yes, I wanna.
The next generation is the one who can say, or if they spend 30 years or 40 years in that country, okay, fine. Now I can think of sending my son to education and football. He can have a dream. Because
I wanna add on that. As growing up in Belgium and playing in all those countries, I've never played with an Indian or played against an Indian or heard of any Indian playing at a high level except of me. Not saying I'm better than anybody. Nobody is focused on football. They just really focus on school
because that's
education.
What I think is. That's what I think is. We have to make these doctors, engineers.
Yeah.
But now,
I think first immigration thing, because they're first born Belgium. They want to really educate them, have a good life, because they are laborers having a shop and doing this, and they want them to have a good job. And maybe the next generation coming after those is going to have a possible.
Yes, exactly.
I haven't thought about it.
This is it.
It's a really good
so this is the new generation which is coming in. And now I'll tell you one more thing. The main thing is that you've got to see from a point of view of the parent there, of parent of the kid there, that he is now spent all his life, all his family's money, taking loans, doing all the shit, selling off his land, and he's been able to shift abroad with his family. And now his son, after so many years, wants to say, I want to go back to India and give up my Belgian passport. Do you understand what kind of a huge thing that is? And then for the father to actually go ahead and support the kid, it's huge. Because if this is done once, it sets up a new thing. See, I'll tell you, it's a very big vicious cycle, guys. Indians I told you, we can only play in the World Cup and we have 10 Indians playing, or 11 Indians playing in the European leagues. 11 Indians can only play in the Europe, or any Indian can play in the European League once a ranking gets above 60. How do we do that? The only quick way, or the only viable way, not quick way, viable way to get in the top 60 is a little shortcut with the PIOs, with the OCIs. If we get this right, we've got enough PIOs and OCIs. I'm not even talking about Triman. He's being developed. We've got people like Danny Bath in Wolves. We've got people, yeah, and not one. We've got people like Narsing and all, and there's so many of them. Even
Yan Dada for the also.
So even if we get 4 or 5, we have it to get into the top 60. That will open up a door. So you have to see.
Why don't they do it?
See, because it's a legacy of 85 years, and this country has, for the first time in our history, there's a footballer who's at the helm of the Football Federation. So it took us 85 years to do that. At least it's a change. So now before you, why do you think nobody did it? By the way, Arata Azumi was, if I look at him as an Indian, he would probably be the best Indian India has produced in the last 25 years. Better than Sunil Chetri or Baichung Bhutia. As a football player, technically, yeah, way much better. Yeah, scorer ki baat nahi kar raha. I'm not talking about a goal scorer. I'm talking about as a footballer. Now, it took him, and he played, so sad he played for India when he was past his prime.
Yeah, he reached India in 2006, but he made his debut in 2012 only. 6 years he has to wait.
So imagine if he would have come in earlier, our ranking would have been affected. Then now this is a Japanese guy who's come and married, but he's married an Indian lady. Why has he not got a passport immediately? For example, I've got 2 of my boys who played for me in the I League and in the second division. There's a boy called Kareem who's a centre back, and there's a boy called Bala Al Hassan who's played all his life in Kerala as well and in Delhi. Both of them were Nigerians. Both of them have married Indian girls, Bengali girls. Okay? And if you abroad, the moment you, hum karte kya? First, earlier, our way of going abroad was finding a girl abroad, okay, and getting married to her so that we can get the green card. Okay? That was the thing. But that was even abroad, even in the US, in England, you marry a citizen, you become a citizen of a country. In India, even if you marry the person and it takes so long. So Arata Azumi, by the way, became an Indian citizen on the verge of not just applying for it because he married an Indian. And it still took him 6 years.
That's what he told me. He said, I got it after a long time waiting, but I married somebody. So I don't recommend you marrying somebody now, but like that would be. But I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Imagine how it's going to take me.
That's what I'm saying. To get to a citizenship, especially when you're doing it for sports, you're doing it for this. You know, the thing these days is that, I'll tell you, the Indian government's problem is that they thought that why will, if we do this dual citizenship, we'll have a lot of people from the US and Canada and these who are also got roots in Pakistan coming and becoming citizens here. And that is the security problem Ministry of External Affairs has. Okay, good. Kudos, no problem. तुम्हारा problem है ये. But then you have a special section where people like Triman can go openly and apply. Because brain drain का मतलब क्या है? Our best brains used to be taken away and we used to go abroad because the development abroad was much more. That means the growth. 10 years ago, the growth rate of any European country was 7 to 10%. And the growth rate of India was 1%. Now the growth rate abroad is 1%. The Indian growth rate is the maximum in the world at 7 to 10%. So now there is no brain drain happening. In fact, forget about brain drain. We are hiring the best goras. हम गोरों को पैसे देते हैं, हमारे लिए काम करो. Yep, we hire the best in the world now because we can do it. So why are we making it difficult for our people who have gone back last generation or last to last generation, and their children want to come back to our country, man? They want to give up their citizenship. Imagine, and why are we making it so tough for them? So I'll tell you, it's not because it's the government fault. These are old, archaic British laws which have still been carried on, and no one is focused on it. If we make a big enough noise, that means if this was a cricketer and this was thing happening, this would have already been in the parliament.
Okay.
But if we actually make enough noise, and we have a president who has a say in the BJP and who can do things about it, we tag him enough, we petition him, and it's not about, by the way, I'm not saying Triman, okay? I'm saying there should be some kind of a rule where they should make effort and plan towards getting India into the World Cup. And towards the effort of getting into the World Cup, along with bringing infrastructure and turfs and all, should be a rule to help OCIs come back to a country.
तो एक सवाल है मेरे लिए आपसे ये है तो ऐसा लगता है जैसे हम आर्ग्यूमेंट्स आ रहे अभी इंडियन फुटबॉल की यंग जनरेशन ग्रास रूट डेवलपमेंट्स शुरू होना चुका है लाइक धीरे धीरे ही सही अभी 2047 विजन सब प्लान हो चुका है तो अभी ये अगर हम PIO OCI ऐसे प्लेयर्स को आए तो डू यू थिंक दैट विल बी अ डीमोटिवेशन लाइक
नहीं भाई सी आई टेल यू अगर होते ना कि वो हजारों लाखों आ जाएंगे तो डीमोटिवेशन होता लाइक ट्रीमन जस्ट सेड कहता मैं पूरी जिंदगी खेला हूं वहां पे he's played in Italy he's played sorry in Spain in Finland in Belgium in Holland and he's never found an Indian playing with him and look at us man we are ones on social media all the time हमारे को एक कहीं Indian मिल जाए हम बोलते हैं oh Indian थे so that's why we know about Yan Dhanda that's why we know about Danny Bath the moment we find any guy with Indian origin we catch on in fact we were trying to claim Dharasu as our own Dharasu is that French substitute who went on to replace Zinedine Zidane in the World Cup. Okay, and actually he's a Mauritius-born citizen. He's of Indian origin.
Yeah, I know.
But we were trying to claim him. हमारे को मिल तो जाए कोई, पर क्योंकि है ही नहीं इतने ये नहीं है कि oh my God there'll be an influx of British footballers coming in. No man, probably you'll get 10-20 good solid footballers. That's it. And but those 10-20 are good enough to get us into the top 60. If you want to do it fast. Now, if you want to do it the long way, which I'm doing, not depending on the government, then you have to focus on your 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. And you have to have a grassroots system and you have to have 100 academies like Minerva doing exactly what I'm doing. Not just me.
Yeah. तो एक और बात है जो अभी मैंने ऐसा सोचा है like I want to also get Triman's this like now you're training with Tektro and Delhi FC. So do you think the condition like you have played in Belgium and all, so you have now come here, you have shifted to here. That the level of training here and do you think this is the best division for you to play and grow in, and do you think you are of a better division right now? What's your thought about it?
I mean, it's better here for me in a sense because I'm playing with older guys, and that aspect I'm having to learn, and it's going to be difficult. In the beginning, in the first training, I thought, I have to be the best on the field. Then I have potential to be in the national team or this and that. So, but I wasn't aware with the guys I was playing with, and then I thought I really played bad, and I said I was disappointed. Then he said you played really well. I was like, I thought he said I played bad. I said I know the way. What did he say? They said, you played well. You have to know who you played against, like players from ISL, 5-6 guys, and just playing with all of them.
He's a striker, so he was playing against Gurtej, Gurtej has played all his life in the ISL, and he's just played those trophies for Punjab and come back. Then he was captain of Punjab. Then he's got Balwant, Balwant, then there's an ATP, so everybody knows Balwant. Then Munmun Lugun, then obviously Himanshu was training with him, and then Anwar Ali was training with him. Junior and the senior Anwar Ali is here as well as the coach. So is Israel Kurung as a coach. Both these guys are here. Then you have in the middle you have great players like Fahad and the other strikers we have. So the kind of people. And now in the off season, he'll be playing with all my boys who are in the ISL. They come and train here in off season. So he'll be playing against Vikram Pratap, Manveer, and Sandesh Chingan, and Harmi Pom, Jackson. All these boys come and train here. So then he will find out. See, I personally feel that he can compete with any 18-year-old in India. That means he's in that level, no problem. Yes, with the senior, he needs again, like I was saying, game time. Unless he gets game time, I don't know where he will stand, and he also doesn't know. Nor do you know. Right now, and on top of that, unfortunately, if I was in the I-League, I would have already registered him as a foreigner and made him play. Because he can only be registered as a foreigner right now. But I'm in the second division, and this year for the first time in the second division, no foreigners are allowed in the second. But why I'm making him train here, and that's why it's not a conflict of interest to me to represent him as well, is because there's no way I can sign him for my clubs, any of the clubs. He can only sign for an I-League or an ISL club. Simple as that. That's the thing. But right now, no I-League or ISL club will take him because he's going to be registered as a foreigner.
Yeah, that was my question because
I know that
अभी
you're
वो
coming to that.
वो एक्सपीरियंस है वो
ठीक
लोग
है,
एक्सपीरियंस के लिए जाएगा ना.
but अभी क्या करेगा, अभी क्या हो सकता है, अभी रिलायंस यूथ लीग चल रहा है, डेवलपमेंटल लीग.
हाँ.
They've got, because Reliance had changed the rules, because they've got these players in their team who are OCI card members. So for that they allowed two players from every team to be in part of the team as OCI card members. Now nobody's taken that rule up. Probably there are 3 or 4 boys in the entire Reliance League who are playing with OCI cards. 4. And I don't think any of them are any standard. So it's my request to you guys to channel the ones who actually qualify. We can actually see Triman playing very, very soon. If once the Reliance teams who qualify for the next Gen Cup, 4 or 5 teams जो भी जानी है, उनमें से one of the teams picks him up, then he's got a chance to actually play this year in India. And I think that's the least he deserves, even if he gets. And he doesn't want any money, man. He just wants to, and that's the whole point, to get him game time. And so he can show. Even though at least he can go back and then train there and maybe wait for the rule to come, or maybe one day be that good that an ISL team will sign him as a foreigner within a year or two. Not long, within a year or two.
Yeah.
Why? Because see, by the way, I signed Chencho, and he's from Bhutan. And I signed Kiran Limbu. He's from Nepal, and I signed them as foreigners. I signed William Apoku, who was 18 and a half, and I won the I League with him. So nor do I look at the age, that's me. Nor do I look at the country which.
सब ऐसे नहीं होने वाला है ना.
अब ये लिंबू जाएगा खेलने ISL में. चेंचो ISL खेल चुका है. So अगर भूटान से लड़का आके खेल सकता है, तो by the time when Chencho played, he was 23 or 22 when he played in the ISL. So Triman can do it, and he's the whole thing. Why I'm confident is because he's got age on his side. He's just 18, man. And he works hard for 2 or 3 more years. He gets proper game time. Nothing can stop.
Yeah. So, Hari, do you have any questions?
Triman, it was heard that you got an offer from Kerala Blasters, which ignited the fans very much. As all of us know about the fans of Kerala Blasters, but it is also heard that the transfer was not gone through. Can you brief about the incident?
Yeah, that's true. I got an offer from Kerala Blaster 2-3 weeks ago, and they wanted me to stay until the end of the season through an agent. It was arranged, and they said I could stay until the end of the season. Accommodation, everything was provided for us. The only thing that I asked for them, and what the register also asked me to say to them, was just give me a contract which says I could stay until the end of the season, not a professional contract. Just
basically saying that we will take care of your food and stay, and we will pay for tickets. That's a very normal thing to ask for, because he's not an Indian. He doesn't have any place to stay. He'll have to have at least that, and he's not asking for anything.
So I just wanted a document, even a paper, just can stay until the end of the season. Email me that, I'll buy the ticket in 1 minute. I was willing to pay tickets for myself, which they should do, but I was willing. My father said, we will pay for it. Just send us a document. And maybe, I don't know if the communication went through to the club, because there was an agent in between. I don't know, it was of his best interest. He said the club works verbally. And look, I didn't meet my interest, so I don't know.
That's why I immediately took over, because the agent told him that, Kerala Blasters always sends verbal contract. I said, this talking shit. Kerala Blasters or any other club, no one is allowed to send verbal contracts. Even second division club like Delhi FC has to send proper written contracts. Even amateur contracts are written, and they are properly available on the AFF website. So it's not that you have to make your own contract. And in an amateur contract, it doesn't even say you don't have to pay for any salary. You have to just say, okay, we'll take care of his food and stay for these next 2 months. Simple. And that means there was either the agent who was doing something wrong, or the guy who was talking. So that is why, unless you have something in your hand, he goes there tomorrow, they say, who are you? Then what did he do?
Yeah, I had no sense of security, as my father also was leaving Belgium, and how could you let your son go somewhere without any guarantee as a father? So he also discouraged me going. I was really sad, actually, because I'm a really big fan of the Kerala Blasters, as I love the Manjapada too. So I was really hurt. Yeah, Ranjit saw my face, and next day I was a bit sad. Yeah, he consoled me and said it was for the better, and now hearing that they are on part of the rising gave me a bit of relief. So otherwise, I couldn't continue playing anywhere else this season. So maybe it was for the better. But yeah, still one day if I could play in front of the LOC, I would love to. So nothing is determined about the future.
Hope you don the yellow jersey in the near future. We also love to watch you in front of the LOC in Kochi.
Come visit the
Yes, yes, would
LOC
love to
once.
do.
That's what you can do right now as of now.
Yeah, just send me a contact. I'll come. That's all I ask for.
So guys, please understand, he would love to come, man. This is why he's here in India. He's here in India.
But if the move could have worked out, it could also open his into the Reliance Development League, as Kerala Blasters also has qualified into the next stage, I think.
If they have they qualified into the
No,
next league?
no,
No,
no.
I don't
They
think so.
haven't.
I don't know.
I think it's still going on. I think the last year
Yeah, it's going on.
So see, that's what I'm saying. It still has a chance. So you guys, please make noise as Manjapada to give him a chance. And or he doesn't want even his ticket, we'll take care of. And he is saying, okay, food and stay also, he can stay in Hari and Adarsh's house. Okay, no problem. Just give him a chance.
Just a contract.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
The thing was, they wanted me for trials without saying, yeah, we want for. Look, in the beginning, they were wanting me for trials, but then, as Ranjit sir advised me, he said, you're coming from Europe and using all this struggle already. And look, the situation was this. It was the first day I'm going to India. They wanted me like 2-3 days after I just arrived. Look, 4 or 5 hours hour difference. So that was a difficulty in the beginning. I was sick, food poisoning in the beginning. I haven't played a game at that time, 2 months. Now it is 3 months. I haven't played a football game. And I don't remember what my last 90 minutes were. So that also was an issue. Food. And then other thing, it isn't Punjab, it's Kochi. It's completely unknown to me. And then I'm going to train with one of the best teams with reserve for quality of the country and expecting me to outperform everybody, which is almost impossible for any footballer doing that in those circumstances. And then if I don't get the trial, I don't get okay. The other teams, even if I get accepted, trial is not my interest at this moment. Other thing, if I go for trial, then any other team has a right to ask me for trials. The other half won't. So that's another reason I wasn't interested in any trials.
See, the point is that he has his highlights package. He has his game videos. And on top of that, he's willing to come and give any fitness test he wants. In fact, people are asking him to. I've got calls from I-League clubs who are looking at him in the next season and they want his videos, but they want to train with him as well. So see, the point is that it's all about game time. Unless you get, and the best place to get game time is the Reliance Youth Foundation League, because the level is that, and here the risk can be taken. And in fact, if not only if Kerala does it, any team does it, they can actually find a gem. They can find a gem which no one has, like I found Chencho or I found Nimbu. They can find someone which nobody has eyes on, and then they can groom him. Because it's not only that, it's also, if you look, it's not a foreigner, it's like an Indian who can become a youth star in the future and bring in not only on the field but off the field as well.
तो अभी आप उनके एजेंट बने हो रंजीत सर, राइट? आई एम राइट? यू आर द एजेंट ऑफ.
So no, bro, I am his agent as long as he's here for the next 2-3 months. The whole thing is that this is to look. It's not. I'm not his agent.
You are trying to look a club for him, right?
Yes. So the moment he gets that, it's not, and he's an amateur. So it's not that there's going to be any financial transactions. I'm just trying to look after the boys' rights.
पता है मुझे. वो तो no, that question actually was, so what are your current motive? Like आप उनको I-League clips से contact करने जा रहे हो क्योंकि आप.
The current motive is to now start, because he's just come yesterday after all the stint with the government and the passport, to make him start training with the senior teams जो भी यहाँ मिनर्वा में खेल रही हैं, because 2 grounds का होम है DFC का और टेक्टर का, जो भी खेलता है इसको senior team में भी is going to start playing. मतलब not in the competition, in the training time. And the moment that is over, I'm hoping the moment that is done, I want to send clips of that training to all the clubs who qualify for Reliance Youth League and try to get him a team this very season so that he can play in the Reliance Youth Development World Cup. From there, maybe, if he goes there and plays, even if he can't get to India, some other club picks him up abroad because he's a Belgian citizen. And then that's good for India as well, because he'll get abroad time there in that case. So that, it's a win-win. So that's the immediate thing. If that doesn't happen for some reason, I would want him to. This is open. Yes, if we qualify for I League, then we can get game time next year. But suppose we don't. So I would love for him to go back to Belgium and continue training at the best academy or club possible there till the time this is done. Because here, unless he gets game time, he will be wasted again. And he can't get game time unless he gets a passport. So it's a vicious cycle. The only place he can get game time is the Alliance League, and that's what we are hoping for. And that's what I'm going to try my best to do.
Next question, I want to just get Triman into it. So Triman, now you are going to channels, you are going to YouTube channels, you are giving interviews, you are getting coverage, especially with, I think I've been following you on Twitter. Like I've been just looking at your Twitter feed, and we can see interviews coming out, podcasts coming out. Then you were covered by a Bengali newspaper, I guess, right? Yeah. So all these coverages are happening. So there is noise around you right now. There is noise around the issue right now. But one thing with this issue is that this issue keeps coming. The noise keeps coming and then going. So how do you plan to make this? There is our channel. A lot of from a lot of months, this channel was not working because we had some. See, this is the thing. We don't get views in football. We don't get views when we are trying to produce content. We don't get good views. So we have, it's a hustle. So the same thing as with the issues. The issue comes, it's in the spotlight for a few days, then it vanishes. Everything goes again. So that's the thing with Indian, because India is a massive country. This is the thing with India. So now there is coverage around you. Now there is noise around you. So how are you planning to make it productive? See, for that, our channel's motive is the interview itself, this interview or this podcast, whatever we call it, is done to make people aware of your side of the things. We are not here to we are here to just continue that noise. We are just here to just keep that noise going on. So how do you plan to make this noise productive? Uh,
If I understand your question correctly, I'm going to quote a famous quote by Sidhu Musiala,
ah,
the guy from Bajaj. Like he said, you cannot control your timeline of your fame. He said, maybe my name will be around 1 month, 2 months, maybe 5 years. And now, you cannot control the lifetime you're going to be speaking with, So I think while it lasts, I'm going to do my best and speak about this issue, because in another month, maybe I'll be not in the news or nobody wants to ask about me, nobody will be interested in me. So while I am in this light, I'm going to do my best, like he said, and I'm going to spread my word. And I'm just going to do my best and speak about this issue, and hope I can even start a conversation in the government and just be an example for other players. But I think if the government doesn't capitalize on this moment and make an example out of me, I think they're gonna regret this, honestly.
हाँ. तो रंजीत भाजी, आप ऐसा ही है जो जो गवर्नमेंट ही so make noise in the government. तो आप ऐसा कुछ प्लान कर रहे हैं इनके साथ जो PIO OCI?
Yeah, so the whole point is, now with all this coverage and all the noise, like you said, which is coming out of this issue, the whole thing is that we're going to be writing a representation through us to Kalyan Chaube, which we are going to get him to forward to the Ministry of External Affairs and the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, so that at least an official letter is put in, not just noise. Because end of the government कहती है कि लिखत में तुमने कुछ दिया, apply किया कि नहीं किया. So
आज तक नहीं हुआ ना ऐसा? आज तक नहीं हुआ ना?
Yeah, he's gone through all the legal channels, but like you can hear legal channels जाने से he's just been made to wait 6 hours here, 4 hours there, 6 hours there.
वो हमेशा होता है मेरा.
So instead of that, now we are going to, now I'm back as well. He's back. He was doing all this, so we're going to sit down, proper letter, and we actually going to take the help of an immigration lawyer as well to make that letter, so that we can give a proper representation to the government of India. Hopefully with the noise, and because whenever government of India representation comes, they also see the public opinion and everything else. They'll see a lot of noise has been made about it, and hopefully something of the other happens. So conversation.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Also, with my previous live stream with Tanraj, I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I know him.
Fans to make he has a template. He's gonna make prepared template, and which he's gonna post, and he has like 30,000 followers on YouTube and on Instagram and stuff. So we're gonna spam email to the Indian government and to Saji and all the other people involved. And I also got somebody who was willing to help me with how do you call it, the petition, which is also in the work. So I got everybody helping me and everybody supporting me.
So background,
And, I mean,
these are all things happening in the
So
background.
all the things which are happening there, so we are in motion because we know we have a limited time and we want to get things done within the next month or so, 2 months or so, that till this is done or the other thing is done.
Yeah. So one more thing I want to add to that question is, actually now that you have been talking about these background processes, so one thing that stands out to me is like this PIO OCI issue is not just like it's not concerned about football itself, because this is a matter of the country. Like it's a big matter. It's not just narrowing. We can't narrow it down to football only. So, do you think we need to get this? If it needs to be introduced in sports itself, you need the help of other sport federations, not just football. You need to get the noise from other football federations. Cricket में हमें वो नहीं चाहिए.
No, but by वो हमारे को noise नहीं मिलेगा because there is no other sport which is dealing with the same situation. All other sports in India are looking for the next world champion because we are already producing them.
Yeah.
You look at badminton, you look at tennis, you look at table tennis, you look at athletics now, you look at boxing, wrestling, weightlifting, hockey, cricket. You name the game and we are in the top 10 in the world.
That's my point actually. So when these other federations doesn't find the necessity to make the noise, do you think the petition can be like rejected, or it can be?
I tell you, there is no other sport in the world which is played by more countries than their members in the UN.
Yeah.
212
True.
countries play football.
True.
Okay, and how many countries does shooting and archery and hockey or cricket or all the countries in which we are doing well in? The number of countries which play football are 212.
Yeah.
And if you want India to be a sports world power, unless you are great in football, no one is going to take you seriously. And especially if you're such a huge behemoth of a country and you are 100th in the world. This is shameful. We need to all get together and do something about it. So all the other sports federations don't need to look at it कि हमने तो कर लिया है तो इनको तो खुद करना चाहिए. नहीं यार, we are all Indians.
We first have to win the World Cup, then they will take us seriously, like in cricket.
Yeah, but that's not going to be possible because that time 7 countries used to play World Cup. Okay, so you won 3 matches, you won the World Cup. There was no qualification for the Cricket World Cup in '83. Not taking anything away, but come on, man, it's a huge difference.
Not the same thing.
Not at all. In fact, but the point is, a country like Iceland, whose population is 300,000, can do it. Or Belgium, who's smaller than Punjab, can do it. India can definitely do it. What we need is all these. See, this, like I say, great teams are not made by if I do this with my team. If I get this coach, they will do very well. Or if I get them the best food, they will do very well. Best hydration or best fields. No, these are all marginal gains. You have to add all of them up. So you get 1% with hydration, 1% with recovery, 1% with coaching, 1% tactical, 1% technical, 1% OCI, PIO. And that's what you need, 10% above the other teams. You need to work on each and everything.
So, I guess you have something to ask.
So one question I want to ask is there any possibility for any particular amendment in this rule only for the football federations?
The petition will have to be filed. Now, what will have to be done, what I am thinking of actually while talking to you guys, is filing a petition in the court, in the Supreme Court, for this issue to actually be heard. Because this can pave a way for other footballers to come in. So like I did for getting Praful Patel out, I think another petition is required in the Supreme Court, because this issue can actually make a dent in our ranking, man, which we've been trying for 15 years to do. So if just getting us 4 or 5 players from there can see an immediate hit within 1 or 2 years of us getting there. And if we get there, once we get, see, it's all about getting to the 60s, 70s, man. Once we get there, now everything will be open for us.
That's also all of our national team coaches has been saying from these years.
Exactly.
Igor Stimac has also said that he is not continuing his contract because of these issues.
Hmm.
So like हमारे national team coaches ये कह रहे हैं. So do you think there is already a discussion going on in the AIFF because we last
No.
time I guess no
No,
stop.
right. There is no, because I know about personal stuff. Nobody's been talking about it. They only talk about it when they get official paper in their hand. That is way to disturb them. So we'll have to do that, and we are going to do that. So then, once if we write to them and they don't do anything about it, at least we know that we have done our part. You know.
So, but when that issue about Yandada came into spotlight in the Twitter recently, our
We saw Shaji Prabhagar, I guess. Shaji
Prabhagar sir has tweeted about this issue, and he has ensured Yandada.
He was talking to Yanda like we will be looking into it, something like that, I guess.
But the point is he can't do anything. No?
Yeah.
You can just look into it again. It's not that it's his decision. Okay, if it was his decision, trust me, I would have made sure this would have happened long time ago. That means
this is a big decision to make. Actually, it's not.
It's a national decision to make. Ministry of External Affairs and the government is involved. So all they can do, and this is and it's not even like the head of Indian Olympic Association is saying it. It's just one sport out of all the 30, 40 sports we have here in India, and the only sport, in fact, which is saying it. That is why instead of doing this, what we need to do is we need to go to the courts. We need to go to the courts and it has to be a different issue altogether. It has to be an issue that when an OCI or PIO wants to give up a citizenship, why the hell is it so tough and why does it take so long? Simple as that.
Yeah.
Also, another thing, some comments in defense of the rule of India is that we already got so many citizens in India. Why would we want more coming?
Yeah, that was the question I asked earlier.
That was one of the question.
Like, do you think that will be a demotivating thing for our players? That was my question earlier, and Ranjit sir answered it pretty well.
Yeah, अगर वो लाखों करोड़ों आने तो बात अलग है ना. It's an influx of migrants coming in is a different thing. But when we've got specialists coming in for this kind of a purpose, that's what brain drain is. We are doing the opposite of brain drain. We're getting our great blood back.
So I guess the conversation was pretty nice. Hari, do you have anything to add, or let's wind up?
So one more question, which I wanted to ask to Ranjit sir so long, is about AF's decision to disband the Indian Arrows team and start the developmental league. What's your thought about it? Was it a right decision to disband the Indian Arrows?
Starting project? The developmental league, no, it was not the right decision. But if they are going to do it for the forget about Arrows. Arrows is too late a project. I want them to spend that money in the under 11s and under 13s. They should be under 11, under 13, under 15, under 17, under 19 league. All these leagues happening, then it's the right decision. Just doing under 21 league is not going to make a difference.
Just like पहला जो Triman ने first he told that he itself told that he started late. What that was 8 years.
Imagine,
he was that's the first thing. That was the first thing. 8 या तो वो भी नहीं होता ना.
I started late at the age of 11. Oh my God, yaar, he's saying.
Yeah, here even players are starting at the age of 17 and 18.
Yeah, no, in India.
11 is really late.
I know, that's what it is. It is late for world standards. For Indian standard, it's very early.
That was
Liverpool players started footballing career during their college days. They have came up in Kerala. We can see many players coming up from the college teams. They don't have any background of
starting serious football at the age of 15, 16. And by the way, let me tell you about myself. Okay, so under 19, I played for India. The first time when I was taught the W is the way you hold the ball. When the ball grip comes to you, the grip has to be in a W, like this. See, this W.
Basic thing. बहुत late.
But nobody taught me this till I was in the Indian under 19 national camp. When I was 18.
Was you a goalkeeper?
Yeah, I'm a goalkeeper.
Oh really?
Yeah.
New information for you?
I didn't.
No, don't worry, I'll play against you. Let's see you score against me. Don't worry, we'll do that as well.
Yes. Done.
So imagine, that means we start so late, and it's not only what Hari is saying, it's very true. It's all over India. People start very late, and that's why we are so far behind. That's what I'm saying. We need to money on our grassroots. We need to spend ISM money on our grassroots. We need to spend I-League money on our grassroots.
Thing on top of that, the Netherlands, every money they make, of a big percentage of the money they earn in the World Cup as bonus earnings, is invested in the country. So the money they earn with World Cup winning,
but that's okay. That's what we are doing in cricket because the money is coming in.
बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा आ रहा है क्रिकेट.
There is no money. So, but how do you get there? That's the whole point. Without money, without any support, without anything like this, how do you get there? The only way to get there without all these things is these shortcut methods of at least getting the best talent we have. If you want to do it in the next 5-7 years, yeah. If you want to wait till 2034, then it's a different thing. But if you want to get into 26, 30 World Cup, 26 or even 30 by the way, then OCI is the best way to go about it.
So I guess that brings us to the end of the conversation. As always, Ranjit sir he comes to the channel and we have great discussions with him. So Triman, thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting the invite very soon itself. I was planning maybe he will give us 1 week, 2 weeks and all, but you said I'm ready whenever you want. So thanks for coming to the channel and all the best for your future. Would love to see you. If not for playing for Kerala, come to Kerala. I would love to meet you in person. So
Sure.
yeah. So Ranjit sir, Triman, thank you for coming to the channel and hope to see you guys soon back in the channel. We will have some other discussions too.
Thank you so much for having me, Alda. Thank you so much, Ari, and always awesome being with you, Triman. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.